So in all my lookings at the logs most recently, I saw something else that wasn't an issue but did kind of stand out, and I wanted to take care of it. It was the transmission line temp, which wasn't out of the ordinary hot, but at the same time it wasn't as cool as I want it to be. Simply because when you're racing and even just normal driving, you know, you want to kind of be able to regulate those temperatures, not let them get too high only to come down, and not have to basically stop and start and cut the car off and all that kind of stuff, right? So even your oil, coolant, and including the transmission, you want that to be regulated in a certain area, kind of going up and down in a certain area, versus being all the way high and then all the way low, and then all the way high and then all the way low. So I want to be able to regulate those temperatures, and how I'm going to do that is with the fan. What I've thought about so far is that it's going to go on the fan sits in the very, very front of the car, even in front of the radiator. So this is going to sit on the engine side of the radiator, and it's going to blow out behind the radiator, not the radiator, but behind the transmission cooler, just like the radiator fan does. That way it's, I guess they call that a pull system. It's going to be pulling air through to kind of cool down the transmission. And then that way our line temps will be cooler. And then after we make a pass, it won't be as hot. And we can basically still, cool it down even faster with the fans once we get back to the tent and stuff. I think that'll be a good setup. So that's what we're about to do. So to give you some reference, engine, radiator, and my transmission cooler is right there. So this is going to sit, however I'm going to get it in there, this is going to sit on the back side of that, back side of it, and then it's going to blow air that way, or pull air that way. So, and it's also going to be hooked up to the radiator fan, which is right there. So it shouldn't be too hard of a thing to do, but of course, still got to do it, right? And figure out how I'm going to get this in there and mount it up too. So I guess we'll figure that part out. Now, you might have noticed, but I made some shirts. And although I've had a bunch of people ask me how they could get one, I really wasn't comfortable selling them just yet because I had never made shirts before. I didn't want to sell a shirt where the image would start cracking or the shirt would shrink and you'd be choking around here trying to wear a White Horse shirt. But I've had these shirts now for a couple of months and they still look pretty brand new to me. And they feel good too. So I'm comfortable selling the shirts now. If you want one, let me know. Hit me up on Instagram, 2WhiteHorse8. And I'll be sure to get you one. We can talk about sizing, we can talk about colors, we can talk about shipping, everything else needed in order for you to get a shirt and support the cause. Maybe for the next part, or a little money for us to go to the next show that we're going to hit. So if you're interested in a shirt, let me know, and I'll get you one pronto. I found me some spare wire to use. This is more than long enough for the for where I'm going to mount it. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to put it on the front or the back side because I was just trying to get it off in there and it wasn't fitting quite well. But either way, I know I'll be able to get enough wire to wire it up. I don't have any of these ends, but I'm very comfortable in cutting them off and making good ends out of this. But before I decide whether this black or blue gets red or black, I'm going to figure out which one makes it spin the way I want it to spin, based on where I can mount it. So I'm gonna cut this up, put it together, put it back in, figure out where it spins by turning the car on, and then going from there. Now I got two soldered and heat shrink pieces, and I use this wire here to extend it. Just put the red on the blue and the black on the black. About to put it in the car and then depending on which way I can fit it in, that'll determine which of these wires goes to what, and then it'll all be good to go after that. So, you know, cut those ends off, but still kept it clean to where it's not going to have to worry about touching or anything like that. So, all good. I ended up taking off the front grill to be able to get it in there how I wanted it, and that is going to be a little bit overkill, but that's kind of what I want. I want it to be cool. I wanted to keep this thing cool. So probably could have gone with a 5-inch maybe, but same time I done got it, I done scratched it up, so it's going in there now. Okay, so it's in there, it's been wired up, and it's hooked up to the radiator fan. So I'm gonna use my output test the same way that the fan turns on, that output, in order to check it and make sure that it's flowing the right way. So the radiator fans have kicked on, and so has this one, and it's pushing air in through where the cooler is. So because it's on this side of the transmission cooler, it actually needs to push air, because when you're driving, the air is going to be going that way, or air is going to be going that way. So because it's on this front side of this cooler, it needs to be pushing air that way, so it can be going with the normal path of the wind instead of against it. Just like my radiator fans are pushing, they're pulling air through to get the radiator cool. This one is pushing air to get this transmission cooler cool. So yeah, that's gonna work. And you know, two things for just normal driving, I think that'll work pretty good. And then also for after a pass or during a pass and before a pass, in case I have to, you know, I'm somewhere where I gotta be running before the pass starts. When the fan kicks on, the transmission cooler kicks on, and so that's gonna keep everything cool. Usually after hitting the Transbrake, the temperature of the engine and the transmission both go up, so that would kick both fans on to help regulate that temperature. So I think I'm gonna appreciate that a whole lot. Who knows, this might even help the number of times that I need to refresh in the transmission too. I don't know. I'm thinking just good temperatures help with that kind of stuff. But overall, I'm cool with that. I'm glad this works. We all back together. Pretty much can't even tell that fan in there. Keeping stuff cool like we like it. Now, I'm still working on a way to figure out what's going on with my fuel pressure regulator boost line. I need to be able to safely figure out if the voltage is dropping while I'm basically hitting it hard. And if it is, then I know which route to go. If it's not, then I got to figure out what else is going on. I highly doubt that I am running out of fuel pump, because that one is supposed to be good for a car up to 2,000 horsepower, which I know there's different variations and variables that make it that way, but still, I'm not nowhere anywhere near 2,000 horsepower for this to be out of fuel pump, even if I am on E85 instead of gas and boosted instead of naturally aspirated like that 2,000 horsepower is supposed to be for. I hope I'm not, because then that means I basically got to get another pump. You know what I mean? But I'm going to get on that. Actually, I'm going to get on that now. Since we couldn't figure out what was going on with the Transbrake, we decided to go ahead and pull down the transmission, open it up, and make sure everything was still looking good in there and working as it was supposed to, and all the seals were good, which they were. So we were still trying to figure out what we needed to do, but I think now we just really got to focus on this valve body. The guys at Lintech are great. I'm pretty sure they're gonna help us, but we need to get this thing back working.